Hey you're watching a clip from the DynamiteGizmo podcast. This is not the full episode, but if you want to see the full episode, make sure to click the link in the description. And remember, like, comment, subscribe. Do it now. Here's the clip. It's in the past. We need to talk about the future, baby. And speaking of the future, Ian Machado Garry was stepping up to the plate. Again! He stepped up to the plate to fight Shavkat. Now he's stepping up to the plate to fight fucking Carlos Prates, dude. He's stepping up. And you know what? I like this fight better than Jeff Neal. I'm a little disappointed that Carlos Prates doesn't get to fight on 314 alongside Jean Silva. But still going to be a great card. Okay? And now Carlos Prates and Ian Garry are headlining the card that fucking Jamal Hill and Khalil were supposed to headline. Because guess what? Jamal Hill's injured, so now he's out. Which I was actually looking forward to that fight. But I got to be honest, I'm much more looking forward to Carlos Prates and Ian Garry. I like Khalil. I'm kind of a fan of Jamal Hill. I could take him or leave him. But I love Ian Garry, dude. This guy's a menace. Stepping up to the plate again. Another short notice fight. He short notice fought Shavkat. Now he's short notice fucking fighting Carlos Prates. He's going in with the Sharks, baby. Okay? And this is another one of those situations. This is another one of those situations where it's like, who do I pick? Because it was just like MVP versus Ian Garry. I didn't know who to go for. I forgot to show this. Do we really need to see it? Kansas City, baby. Khalil, Jamal Hill, they're out. And the big boys are in. Well, they're smaller boys, but they're big boys. Big boys. When you look at this matchup, this is a great matchup. This is a fantastic matchup. Fantastic. I like this better than Jeff Neal. Fuck Jeff Neal. Fuck him. Right in his arse. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Because I was worried, because we all heard the announcement a few days ago that Carlos Prates isn't going to fight Jeff Neal because Jeff Neal was out on an injury. So I was worried, amongst other people, that they weren't going to give Carlos another matchup. Because look at what they're doing with Khalil. They're just like, fuck you, dude. Not only are you not headlining anymore, you're not even on the card. Hey, go fuck yourself. Get out of here, Khalil. So I didn't want them to do my boy Carlos Prates like that. Okay, that smoking son of a bitch. He likes to smoke cigarettes. A lot of them, too. So I thought they were going to do him dirty, but they didn't. They did him nice. And Ian Garry, man, he doesn't disappoint. He's always stepping up to the plate. He's fucking down, dude. If you didn't like Ian Garry before, and you didn't like Ian Garry again, and you didn't like Ian Garry again, you have to like him now. You have no choice. Sean Strickland used to shit on Ian Garry. There was that little moment there where Sean Strickland put a bad taste in everyone's mouth for Ian Garry, especially those who didn't know Ian Garry. But then Ian Garry was like, fuck you, I'm going to fight MVP, and he won. And then I'm going to fight Shavkat, and he didn't win, but it was short notice, and it was Shavkat, but he stepped up to the plate, and now he's doing it again with Carlos. And you know what? Even though Ian Garry was undefeated, right up until Shavkat, which was his most recent fight, he honestly put up a good battle against Shavkat. He showed the world that he can walk with the boogeyman of the welterweight division. Everyone's scared of Shavy. Everyone's scared of the cot. But he went in there, and he fucked around, and he didn't win, but it was kind of an even match. And Ian Garry has become one of my favorite fighters, by far. Love Ian Garry. Love him. But So is Carlos Prates, along with all the fighting nerds, or at least the 4 of them that are in the UFC. Well, I should say 5 because of Bruna, or whatever her name is, that fighting nerd, the chick. It's Bruna, or Brazil, whatever the fuck her name is. But the fighting nerds. They're all great, dude. So this is one of those matchups, just like it was with MVP versus Ian Garry. I didn't know who to pick, and I don't remember who I picked. I think I went for MVP, and Ian Garry took it. So I'm going to be happy either way, but here's what I'm thinking. It's tough because I want both to win, and we obviously can't have that, so I have to pick one, okay? I want it to go one way more than the other, which obviously, okay? So look at this, okay? So Carlos Prates, he's fairly new to the UFC, but in the last year, he has already had 4 fights, undefeated still, and all his wins out of the 4 fights that he's had in the UFC were all knockouts. Guy's a fucking talented badass, dude. Comes in, throws some fists, knocks some guys out, bada boom, bada bing. Fighting nerds are the shit, okay? Collectively, they're all great. So of course, I would love to see the legacy of the fighting nerds continue onwards so that they continue collectively their undefeated streak. But here's the thing. Carlos is fresh into the UFC world. He's really only been here a year and a little bit, maybe. Okay? So even if Carlos Prates loses to Ian Garry in Kansas City, this isn't even going to affect his career in the slightest. He's ranked number 13. Ian Garry's ranked number 7, okay? Carlos is down here. Ian's up here. So obviously if Carlos wins, it's going to bump him right up. But if he loses, it's not even going to affect him even the slightest. Okay? He'll lose this fight, and he'll continue on, and he'll rise up those ranks regardless, whether or not he wins or loses against Ian Garry. And I could even see him getting to a point, and it's more than likely going to happen, where Carlos fights and probably even wins the title. Because if he loses against Ian Garry, he's still going to be ranked number 13. He might get pushed down maybe a little bit, but either way, he's still going to be in the rankings. And he's still fresh. He's got so many years ahead of him. He's got so much time to climb back up. So win or lose, Carlos Prates is going to be fine. Whereas Ian Garry, on the other hand, he's ranked number 7. He's coming off a loss. Mind you, that loss was to Shavkat, and it was his only loss that he's had so far. But he's been rising up the ranks like mad. He's been in the UFC for a little bit now. If he loses this fight, it will excel Carlos fast, and it will knock Ian Garry down quite a bit. Which, again, I wouldn't be too upset about because I fighting nerds, I want to see them rise up. But I got to be honest, I at least want to see Ian Garry go for the title. He doesn't even have to win the title. I just want to see him have that opportunity to fight for the belt. I want to see him get there, and specifically sooner than later. So if he loses against Carlos, that's going to knock those chances out of the field division. All right, it's going to push him back down, and he's going to have to fucking climb his way back up the ranks again. All right, when he's escalating, he's getting there rapidly. If he loses to Carlos, he's going to shoot him back down the ladder. I want to at least see Ian Garry get that title shot. At least just get the shot. He doesn't even have to win. I just want to see him go for the belt. At least once. So that's why I'm going for Ian Garry in this. As much as I love Carlos, as much as I love the fighting nerds collectively, and obviously I want to see them succeed wildly, collectively, together, I'm rooting for Ian on this one. I'm rooting for Ian, which may sound crazy, but that's my rationale. I want Ian to get that belt, or at least get a chance at the belt first. Let Ian get the chance at the belt, and Carlos Carlos will get there. No matter what, Carlos is going to get there. And you know what? If Ian Garry wins this fight as well, it's just going to really shine a light on Ian Garry. We're going to be like, okay, yeah, he couldn't defeat... It was a close matchup between Shavkat. By the way, Shavkat was, I think, sick at the time, too. He had something going on. But he beat he didn't beat Shavkat, but he's back in business, baby. He's coming right back in. Stronger than fucking ever, dude. And that's what we need for the Ian Garry Meister. Let's listen to what he has to say here. He's fucking naked in his bedroom. He's got some shit he has to get off his chest.
Right, it's official. You've got a new main event. Kansas City, Missouri. Me versus Carlos Prates. April 26th. I'm excited. Why? The UFC go, we need someone. Who do we need? Who do we call? You call me. Why? Because I'm a real fighter who wants to fight the best in the world. I'm going to show everybody how good I am. Carlos Prates is awesome, but this is my world. I love to fight. There's nothing more I love in this world than fighting. Missouri, Kansas City, let's go. Ireland, get your tickets, get your flights. Brazil, get your tickets, get your flights. And Brazil, desculpa, vocês têm 2 brasileiros nessa luta. Vamos lá. Prates, vi você abril 26.
Yeah, I know what you said there. I don't know what he said. I don't know what he said at the end. I don't speak Spanish. There was no translating subtitles. All I know is, how can you hate Ian Garry at this point, dude? How can you hate him? You can't. You have no choice. You have no fucking choice, dude.
Tap here to watch the full episode of the Dynamite Gizmo podcast.